Welcome to AI TV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCauley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Tool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AI TV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AI TV Starship. Learn, laugh, innovation. AI TV Star, human amplified. Catch the spark, ride the wave. Futures on our side.
I'll tell you what, Rick. It is must-see TV Thursday.
Yeah, it's every day, man. I tell you, this is getting crazy. I feel like I'm in a fire hose, or I'm a kid on Christmas morning that just got 10,000 toys and doesn't know what to play with first. So, and in fact, the list is so long, so we're going to deep dive into it. But I want to start off the show by kind of doing some ideas about where we're going to shift the channel. I think that we need to make this more actionable for folks. You know, I love our banter back and forth. I think that we're fun. I think other people think we're fun, you know. You're definitely comic relief and but also the deep dive and the serious
I keep
stuff.
coming back, so
Yeah, I have to watch it, right? So we've reached a milestone, which is 500 subscribers, and we want to do a couple of things. We want to see what we can do for you. So I'd like you to get on there if you're one of those. There you go. There's the audience, right, that we're waiting for. So if you're one of those folks that are in the live right now, go ahead. Hey, Jeannie, how you doing? Hello, friends. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks. That's really appreciated. But we want to earn more. We want to earn it. So this is a place you come back again and again. So we're going to do three things. Number one is we're going to start with what we're going to do for you, not what we're doing, not what the news is. But we're going to start each one, talk about, go ahead and comment like crazy. Jeannie, tell me what you want to get out of the show. What do you want to know about? And I'm willing to, hey, Claire, how are you? Good. So we got our loyal listeners, Claire and Jeannie. Fantastic. Jeannie in the bottle. Love that name. But we want to see what we can do for other people. As we kind of figured out today, so I followed up on a story that YouTube has changed their entire algorithm. Oh, that's a fancy British way to say
algorithm.
Algorithm, yeah. That it's now about your authenticity, your human engagement, because they're tired of this AI slop. Well, guess what? We're about as human as you get, I think, right? Mistakes and all. And the one thing about being human that we kind of know, because I spent the whole weekend doing a real deep dive, thinking about, well, what am I doing for other people? My whole zeitgeist when I'm teaching is I'm designing educational experiences for somebody else that's going to add value to their lives. And then I've tried to do more of this when I show up in conversations. I try to see how can I be a better version of myself. Now, this goes back to this, what I think is, Leah, what I think is probably the most profound lesson I ever did for my design students. And I don't use the word graphic anymore, because we're way beyond that. As I said, you're designing experiences for other human beings. Think about Steve Jobs and the experience of your phone, the iPhone in particular, and how everything had to do with how it impacted you. You're in the driver's seat. We are purpose-bound to be of service, right? And if I'm going to talk that talk, and I'm going to be that dangerous man that talks about that, like I know you are too, right? We're about being there for people.
I think I figured it out, Rick.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. This is an unofficial, probably untrue scoop that, Johnny Ives is partnered with OpenAI, and they've got this mysterious device.
Yep.
I was thinking on our conversation in Miami, and I think I might know what it is, or at least if I was Johnny Ives, what I would make it.
Oh, yeah. Tell me, because I've been trying to rack my brain over this.
A pen. An ink pen that has a sensor on it. So you take a pen and paper, you write normal, but it's scribing and it's capturing everything that you're doing. It's got a little camera, a
Oh,
microphone. You put it right in your lapel, and it
okay.
captures the world, and it becomes your ambient partner in crime with a
Okay.
combination of a headphone. So you've got your pen and headphone. You heard it here first.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent idea. And being a design thinker, I'm really embarrassed that I didn't come up with that first because that's pretty brilliant. They tried the glasses. I'm a huge fan of that because I wear them anyway, right? For those friends of mine, they wear sunglasses occasionally, but not indoors. And there's that creepy part where you're being watched, right? Your glasses are pointed at other people, and it's okay. But if you're capturing them, I mean, I sort of feel like I remember a National Geographic photographer who went into like the Amazon to this deep place where it never saw humans before, and he brought a Polaroid camera with him, and he spit these pictures out, and the people freaked out because they thought you were stealing their soul. I mean, that was the original story, right? And I actually talked to someone who had that real experience. And the back of a digital camera is also that way, right? But I think that is beyond invasive. And then I looked at the Hume pin, right? So that was an extremely unsuccessful device. That was a lapel thing that you clipped on with a little battery. Yeah, it's creepy when you walk into a store. Yeah, with glasses on that have
Although,
you see the little light.
Rick, I
Although
will
it's
say,
small.
if you yes, an ambient always on recording, that's creepy. But I will say that I have the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses, and I wore them all summer long at amusement parks, in the pool.
Okay.
They're not waterproof, so be careful with that. But waiting with the 4-year-old.
Did you find
But
out the hard way?
no, I did. I didn't. I was very careful, but it was really allowing me to be in the moment because I saw a lot of other tourists out there that had their cell phones in those waterproof Ziploc pouch bags.
Yeah.
They're trying to take pictures of their kids, and I'm just like, "Hey, Noah, smile," and I'm holding them with both hands, spinning them around, and hey, let
Right.
me take a picture, and it captures the moment. But my point is because they were sunglasses and I wasn't an always on recording, nobody punched me. Nobody came up and called me a glass hole, which is what they used
Yeah.
to Google Glass people.
That is a new word, isn't it? Glass hole. Okay.
But for me, I forgot about the camera after a while. Like they were just a
Yeah.
normal pair of glasses. And even when I was like in line, if I was querying the Meta AI about something and saying like, take a picture, everybody's just so accustomed to people talking to each other, talking on a Bluetooth headset.
Yeah.
It
Is
really
privacy
it wasn't as invasive as you were. And I just assume that I'm always on anytime I'm anywhere in a public space, that I'm just
Yeah,
assuming
I
there's a
mean,
security camera or a person taking a video.
I did a thesis level paper when I was in school, and I was thinking about surveillance cameras. And really interesting side note, and then we'll get back to what we're going to do tonight because I do want to hit that land that plane for sure. So there was a big story because in London they have more video cameras, CCTV. If you ever watch one of those MI6 shows, it's like instantly there is always on everywhere you go. So I started studying, deep diving as to how many we have versus London. Well, evidently there was one incident that happened in London back in the late 80s, I think it was, or 90s perhaps. This kid was going down, left a mall, left his kids, left his parents. Somebody stole him, and they have CCTV on the train tracks of that kid getting abducted. They ended up finding, I think he actually died, but it started this nationwide thing that we've got to have cameras everywhere. And now we're so overwhelmed. Think about it. How many cameras are watching you all day long? And if you think too hard about it, we've lost privacy. And how many times are you on live? Like we're right here doing this. I mean, you know stuff
Yeah.
about us. I mean, Jeannie knows more about me than having watched the show than probably my mother did, It's like, and you're sharing these intimate stories. So have we become completely public? Is this the ultimate? And here's an interesting thought. Andy Warhol famously said people will be famous for 15 minutes. Are we 24-hour famous now? Have we given up privacy? So that's a really interesting thing. And like you said, you're not bothered by it. But I remember going to a park, and it was right after the abduction of Walsh, the kid that was abducted and his dad turns into Crusader, right? So this just happened. And being a photographer for the Miami Herald, I would always go to city parks and get what we called CLOs, caption only pictures that would run on the front page and stuff like this. So it was so hot, I'd get kids in water fountains and sliding and whatever. Always, I was greeted by the parents. Oh my God, you work for the Miami Herald. This is so fantastic. And as soon as that event happened, literally a woman came back to me, wanted to have me arrested because a cop went by for taking a picture of her kids. And what I would typically do is I'd go over, see the parents, I'd say, is it okay? And I just took the picture. I thought she had nodded at me. She then follows me back, as a cop would not arrest me for taking a picture in public, which is not illegal, by the way. And still isn't, by the way, if you're protecting your freedoms, as you should. It's the First Amendment right to do so. She followed me back to my office and complained to my editor and filed a formal grievance against me for photographing her kid. And always I would go up to the parents afterwards and I'd ask for a name and consent to put it in the paper and et cetera, et cetera. But like, that's the first moment I realized that privacy is a weird thing. And then I remember just being shortly after that, I was at McDonald's with, 10 years later, I guess. And with our little kids, if you're in a McDonald's and your son needs to go to the bathroom, do you let him go by himself or do you go in with him always?
Always go in with him.
Okay. So we're sitting in McDonald's like for an hour, right? Kids have finished eating. I was watching the bathroom right next to the bathroom. And so the friends we were with, their son wanted to go to the bathroom. And I said, I've been watching it. Nobody went in, nobody went out, so I was pretty secure they could go in by themselves. And they were 7 at the time, I think. So I felt it was okay. And she just said, no, Walsh was the kind of word that, but we're at that time where we've slowly boiled into this world where that's not gone, right? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I love this comic.
Yeah.
If you can't see it on the screen, it's people in the 60s. I better not say that, or the government will wiretap my house. And then people today, hey, wiretap, do you have a recipe for pancakes? Because we've got an Alexa or a Schmoogle home sitting in every cone at our house. And with the government and our friends at Schmellen's openly suggesting that they're going to
he's not even saying dives. The full name Palantir. Okay, it's Palantir. And that's named after the rocks from Sauron. It is the rocks of Sauron. It's the all-seeing eye.
I know, but I didn't want to get
company for a company. You're listening and watching this channel because I'm on the list, baby. I'm on the no-fly list right here. And I'm a dangerous man. I'm proud of that.
And for the new viewer that just joined us, our CIA appointed spy, because we said Palantir on a live stream. Welcome. We're new here. We usually talk about AI. See, my lights are already going out. The power is getting cut. This is happening.
Yeah. So Palantir is our surveillance company. The entire country they created. This is absolutely freaking true. The Immigration OS. It's an operating system so that ICE can come to your house because you posted that you're having a beer at a local pub. And they'll come to the pub and arrest you. I am not making this up. Now, I'm saying this as a dangerous man. Brandon, the producer, has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. He disavows any knowledge of me at all. He's never been to my house. He's got nothing to do with me.
I'm going to have to start wearing tinfoil hats here.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a deep dive, and you should look at the Dark Enlightenment. It's a movement that says that capitalism is incompatible with democracy. Peter Thiel wants to be king because human beings are not capable of managing themselves. So along with Larry Ellison, who has now a dossier on every human being, including all of us. So they got all our fingerprints at the airport last time I went. That was new addition. They've got all of our eye scans and everything else. That's new. That's an addition. And Palantir and Peter Thiel and Larry, they're all doing this, right? Anyway, I'm not going to do that whole thing. It's very real and very scary. And it's getting a lot worse than you even imagine. I mean, anyway, so remember, you can still see it with the AI. That's it. That's it. True. So if you thought waterboarding was bad, they're doing it. So anyway, getting back and landing the plane.
Just wait till the Boston Dynamics robot starts waterboarding you.
Yes. I don't know what they're going to get out of me though, because I don't really know anything. All the stuff that my dad did for the CIA or whatever is long gone since he's dead. So,
I will tell you, Rick, that it was getting back to land the plane and bring us back
Yes.
to news, which is what we're supposed to be talking about on AI TV Starship. It was a insatiable week. Like,
okay, let me finish one more thing, because I said I was going to talk about three things. Number one, so we're going to be purpose built to answer your questions and give you something of value to take away. So first thing we're going to do is all those tool times. There is already a PDF where you can download the prompts. In fact, what you're going to see tonight is about a 150-page PowerPoint presentation where you can copy and paste all of the prompts in there and try out these things yourself using ChatGPT, or if you want to, and that's one of the news things. Today, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the other thing is we want to help you cope. So we want to know what you want us to talk about. I'm looking for some experts in education, health, design, and those are going to be our main pillars of what we're going to do here on AI TV. So my assignment I gave to all my students is find somebody you love and spend a few hours, write it down on a piece of paper, design an experience for those people that make them feel loved, seen, heard, understood, and deeply, profoundly feel the experience that you're making for them. And I say that to every human being. And then I said, since they're designers, every product you ever do, every service you ever design, that's your job for the rest of your life. And this goes back to the profound statement my dad said when I was going to my first day at McDonald's. He said, for the rest of your life, all you do is go solve the problems for your boss before they know they have them. And you'll be successful all your life. And that's just my thing, right? So if we can do that for you, let us know what it is. Jeannie, you have an extra special place in our heart since you keep showing up again and again. You have a health idea? Oh, yeah. Definitely. And we want to involve the AI Salon, who has their Festivus coming up. So we might want to put that in there you got to sign up for it now. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny. If you want the extras, then sign up for the mastermind program, which is, how much is that total cost?
It is on sale through the end of the year for $20 a month.
Yeah. So for the price of a pizza a month, you get to belong to a community of about 4,000 people who literally put out hundreds of hours of content all the time. And AI Festivus, what the heck is that? That's the 26th and 27th. Is that right? December? So after Christmas.
Rick and I will both be speaking at it.
Yeah, I'm going to speak about Google Notebook LM as if you need to hear more about that. In fact, you're going to hear a little bit about tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about Comet, the browser, and how I'm using it back and forth to actually increase our population. So here's three things I'm going to ask. And this is the last thing. We're going to gift you all this for free. And it's going to be up there on Rick McCauley for now. And we may stick there because we're starting to get some traction. And I now know the secret sauce. What they're looking for is what we're given, which is basically do something for me. Tell me something I didn't know. And then the big thing is show me some practices that I can try. So we're going to be doing workshops coming up. I plan on doing them on Saturday mornings. If you want to join those will be 6-hour workshops. I'll keep it super cheap, like $20, $30 a person. Or if you can get a group together and you want to talk on a particular subject, we'll do that for you. And that'll be a regular thing that I just kind of do and get involved in no matter where I'm at in the world. I'm at Carmen, San Diego these days. I think I'm going to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and just got back from Argentina. My roommate's a flight attendant, so I get to travel a lot. But anyway, so the point is we're going to make something for you, make this worth your time. So you're going to walk away learning something, hopefully have some fun because, without humor, there's nothing, right? And then get involved with you personally.
She's going to go take a nap, but then we came on. So there's no sleeping in AI, Jeannie. We've been over this.
Jeannie, I really appreciate you. And Claire, same thing here. My love to both of you. Both of you have made little songs for me that just warm my heart. And that's what I want to do for you guys. I want to write little songs for you and make you smile. And, not just the humor, but like, how do you cope? Because I think privacy, what do you do with this, right? So who else are you going to hear but a couple of schmoes talking about this stuff?
And speaking of songs, if you have not subscribed to Suno yet,
Ooh.
they've got a little bit of you should, because it's amazing. But
Yeah.
they've got a little bit of a holiday treat for new users that haven't subscribed. They're going to let you use their latest model and go make a holiday song, and personalized holiday song, and gift it to somebody that you care about. So
How
if you're
sweet.
thinking of a last minute holiday gift, you can gift
Yeah.
somebody a song for free on Suno if you just Google
Yeah.
Suno
Jeannie's
holidays.
saying I communicate through songs. Me too. You know, I'm trying to get 120 songs. So the last thing I want to share is I'm going to be producing a magazine. It'll be available in print. Ooh, because it's so pretty. I just can't, right? And I'll show you a sample of what the magazine's going to look like. It's going to be once a month. It's going to probably be 200 pages, but I'll make it as a PDF, horizontal for your iPad, and it will have links to music, videos, an entire website ecosystem. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to vibe code that. So talk about, you just can't get enough of me. What I think is really great about an educational experience is you get to do it on your time. I've always thought the one thing about the pandemic was on Zoom, you can go back and watch it again and again and again. Right? And so maybe the only thing good
His
about
brain
the
just
pandemic,
caught up. It's like, wait, did you say a 200-page magazine?
I produced 500 pages this last week, and I have 7 books that are each over 400 pages each. So if I just put that out there in the world,
the delivery fee is $872, but other than that,
yeah. So it's going to be available both ways, both as a PDF, interactive PDF. So that means that you'll click on a button, or here's my thoughts and tell me what you think, because I want to think about designing this. So it's a website that's permanent. You can go there, that you'll pay a fee to get to the really juicy stuff, but we'll be teasing and we'll be putting free stuff out there. Oh, that's sweet. I got a nice voice sometimes, although I keep losing it because instead of drinking warm tea before coming on the air, I'm stupidly drinking my Diet Cokes like they're going out of business. So I'm going to slow myself down and get a little bit deeper with you, Jeannie. Nice
and
to tune in with us.
What we can do, as a quick side note, I was on a conference call earlier today, and one of the participants came on and introduced themselves, and I thought I was on Howard Stern. Their microphone, I was like, are you in a podcast? Where are you that you sound that clear? Like, I thought I was on the air. I was like, wait, am I caller 7? What is going on? So
yeah.
But to that point, Jeannie and Rick, not that I'm giving you any more planes to launch into the air, but thanks to 11 Labs and other voice cloning technology, it would be incredibly simple to offer a digital companion for your 200-page magazine. You could have the audio book version or the audio magazine version, Audio Zine, I think it's
with my cloned voice.
With your cloned voice.
And my beautiful
face.
face.
Some water before you clone it. And so,
yes,
all amazing good things coming up here in 2026.
Yeah, so if you look at my YouTube channel, you can watch me and my cloned voice singing a country western song about self-domesticated apes, which is going strong. Also, I'm working right now on a film for The Dangerous Man. So we might get a chance just to show you a couple of outtakes from it. It's pretty cool. So it's me as a dangerous man, and then I've done a deep dive on what it means to be a dangerous man. If you don't know the Dangerous Man story, I might even be able to play a little bit of the song. I think it might be a copyright violation, but there's this guy who wrote this beautiful song, teach my children to be dangerous men, who pick the flowers, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I've spent a lot of time. How long is the film
going to be? Jeannie wants to know.
Oh, it's going to be a music video. So it's going to have my voice singing the song "The Dangerous Man" in the new version that I just came out with. And I've got 3 producers that are going to help me. I'm going to attempt to perform it live with my music video behind me in the future. Stay tuned, because I used to be a professional singer for a living. So I've been there, done that.
Speaking of live, I do want to just come back and touch on Festivus, because if you haven't signed up yet, aifestivus.com, next Friday and Saturday. So you're going to spend 2 days with your family, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Then we're going to put that compartment away, put up all the Christmas decorations and get ready for being AI ready in 2026. 2 days, 12 hours live each day. And they're running a special in advance if you want to buy all 24, because really, I mean, Rick and I will be there for the entire 24 hours, but we don't expect you to be that into it for the 24 hours. You know, you might have to go grab lunch or
just ate a bunch of turkey. You're not staying up for 24 hours. I mean,
but you're not going to want to miss a minute. So you can buy all of the talks, including ours, in advance for $27. And you know, we're learning some new math with my daughter in 2nd grade, but that's like a little over $1 per hour of content.
Wow.
So it's an absolute steal right now.
Yeah.
And speaking of my kids, they just came home, so they'll probably pop in here to say goodnight. But my talk at AI Festivus is going to be about parenting in a tech world and how can we use AI to evangelize the next generation of AI natives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. In fact, I just read a post of a friend of mine who went to speak to a 4th grade class, and the questions they asked, like, you know, should I, if I have a question, should I ask my AI or should I go see a teacher? I mean, just some really profoundly scary questions. Have you ever gotten weird questions from your children that way, that you kind of took you aback a little bit?
Not yet. They're still very much in the play first mentality, and Jeannie is having sushi for Christmas. You're very close to being Jewish if you just throw some lo mein next to that, pop in and see a movie. That is our tradition.
So you have Chinese sushi? What?
Well, Chinese food and sushi, they go hand in hand. The best
sushi I ever had was in Shanghai, China. I am not making this up. It's like so wrong that I had the best sushi in my life. I mean, I grew up in Japan. I had the best sushi in Shanghai, China.
And so you'll know, Rick, that Chinese food, American Chinese food, is not the food that they eat in China.
No, and it's pretty scary.
But Olive Garden is authentic Italian. I have it on good authority.
And I had, and then so for 4 years in a row before the pandemic, I taught in Kazan, Russia, 2 years in a row. And I taught in Shanghai the whole summer, right? So I am there living amongst them. I actually taught at Kazan University that both Lenin and what's his name, the famous writer, went to school. At the university I was teaching at. So I walked in those halls, and they were squat toilets. There was one actual bowl toilet, and it was like 8-foot thick walls because, of course, it snows all the time. I was there in the hottest summer on history in Kazan, Russia, which is right in the smack middle of Russia, right? So not only I bought 3 changes of shirts, which I had to go to the bathroom just during a 4-hour class. That's all it was, right? And I'm teaching these rich oligarchs kids graphic design, which is really another whole story for another time. And then I went to Moscow and spent the entire time with these gay guys who were best friends of Putin's. The lawyer for Putin was one of the guys that we hung out with, and I had the most. But it was so hot; it was 104 degrees, which is like the record of all time, right? And so there was no air conditioning. So I sent everybody out to get popsicles every day. So I bought everybody popsicles, as it was really cheap over there, and then walked back and forth to school. And then I spent the whole weekend just going to every part of the country. And China was that's another story for another day. But it's the land of flame.
Well, if we weren't on the FBI's radar by this point in the show,
we're on there now, because I got all kinds of crazy countries you shouldn't be going to if you're an American citizen.
And on that note, we're time to land that plane in the U.S. because we are 30 minutes in, so we should probably talk about some AI on AI TV Starship because much happened.
Oh, and by the way, the Chinese have beat us because they now have their own processor that's a lot better than ours are. So when we cut off all the processors, guess what they did? They put 10 million people on the job of making new ones, right? So evidently they reached that just yesterday. They reached a point where they've proven that their processors are as good and as fast as ours are. So forget about the tensor processors or whatever else. They got something brand new that's, of course, engineered on our intellectual property, but a lot faster, better, and cheaper. So
yeah, but they have to buy it on Temu. So
which they'll get tariffed if they come to the United States. So, we'll never.
Exactly. But I really think we're reaching a point, Rick, where it doesn't matter. The technology is so good. I mean, we saw Gemini 3 Flash come out this week, which is lighter, faster, stronger, less processing power, but more powerful. Like at a certain point, we're going to jump that threshold where it doesn't matter how silicon-y the silicon is. If the AGI can do AGI, and it can be recursive and learn from itself.
That's a really scary set of words that you just uttered there. Faster, cheaper, better is when we lose all our jobs. When AI gets faster, cheaper, better, your employer has no reason to keep you around. And we're next year is how I predict it. I think we're almost there. I am trying to do simple PowerPoint presentations. I noticed today there's a couple of problems I had that made me go back and spend hours retouching things. The spelling of stuff is getting extraordinarily better. And I've got 5-point text on type with over 3,000 characters in one illustration, not a single misspelling. Wow. Okay. So let's get into the big news. So the big ones that you probably already heard about is ChatGPT is switched up. And it now has a new image model and a new model 5.2, I guess it is, or is it 5.3 now? They keep adding something.
Still 5.2, but at least they're going sequentially now.
Okay. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen and go on over and just take a look at some of the new features. I haven't even, speaking of not being able to even try this stuff out myself, I haven't even tried this new thing. So a couple things you might want to do.
See it here first.
What's that?
I said, we'll see it here first live.
Yeah. So so you can go in there and you can type in Photoshop at Photoshop, and then it will go to Photoshop to create these things. Or you can just come over here to this new images tab. So you've got your normal way to make a new chat, right? Just like this. And then you've got this capability right down here. Let's start creating there. So you can come up with your own sort of style. So if you want to do a holiday portrait of yourself, all you got to do is choose a photo. So let me go choose a photo from my desktop. Let me see if I can find a picture of Rick somewhere. I used to have them just hanging around. Yeah, a couple. And
Jeannie had a point. People need to talk about the job loss thing more. I'm less concerned about that, only because I think that we're going to solve for it as humanity. Humanity always evolved. You think about the farmers that were hand tilling, and then the combine came out, and what did they do? They moved to the cities and started suburban life and factories, and then the industrial revolution, and then the technical revolution. There's always that next chapter, and even when we think there's massive job losses, there will always be something that people will do with purpose. Now, whether we get paid for it or what the economy of scale looks like for that new reality, we haven't defined a blueprint for it yet. And that's where the conversation is going to turn. But I think overall, if we don't kill each other, humans are going to be okay, because we will always find a way to adapt and innovate, because we are not good at sitting still and resting on our laurels by and large as a species. There are definitely those who are perfectly comfortable with that lifestyle, but if Rick and I are any estimate, I don't think the vast majority of people will not get bored by doing something, or not doing anything, rather.
Well, so here we are. So now automatically it allowed me to pop on over to Adobe Express. So the entire, so I'm not going to do that right now. Everything you can do in Adobe Express, which is everything. So it's basically got Photoshop, it's got editative, PDFs, QR codes. Literally, there's 10,000 tools in there. So I work for Adobe
that is a happy holidays from Rick McCauley, if I've ever seen it. That is a fantastic holiday.
Let me find out if it can do a happy Hanukkah.
There you go.
Can you
has
give
to make
me
the lights blue and white.
Beautiful picture of me celebrating Hanukkah with some random children that you come up with, playing with toys and having a good time, festive time. Include all things like, what would you put on a Hanukkah? dinner table?
A
Yeah,
latkes,
let me just ask it like
dreidel,
that, right?
menorah.
So, with the things you put on a holiday table. So let's see. So you can see it's supposedly 5 times faster. Well, 5 minutes now. It's about let's count it down here. I think it was about 33 seconds, which is not bad. It's still
It's a
not
big
quite
improvement
nanomet.
from 5
Yeah.
minutes, but the
Oh
quality
yeah,
is
yeah,
good. I mean,
yeah.
we are so entitled, Rick. We are so entitled. I am not going to wait 33 seconds for my completely custom AI generated image that has 3,000 words and not one of them is spelled in
Right.
5-point font.
I know. And there we go. So yeah, that's my 5 point
I'm
font.
dying to know if
Me-
your kids are going to look anything like you or if they're going to be random.
I don't know. I'll be shocked if they come up with kids. I mean, think about this. Now they're still not doing LeBron James, but they have made a deal with what, Disney now?
That woman from the Miami Park's going to come back and grievance this show for AI generating photos of her kids.
Oh wow. So yeah. Oh my God. So wow,
I
look at
will
that.
say those speaking from experience, those do look like Jewish kids. I don't know.
I look like a Jewish
I don't know
man.
if that was the intention of the model, but
and I just got a notification on my phone that the pictures are ready at the photo mart down the street.
yep,
Holy
exactly.
cow. I mean, that's you got to say, if they're playing with a dreidel, what do they got on the food there? They got some nice bread, a little brisket.
Yeah, those
Is
are
that what
jelly
that is?
donuts, which is a staple for the holiday of Hanukkah. Basically, anything fried in oil, we're good because we got more oil than we know what to do with. I am going to
Or Chinese
slide
food.
out of the
Or
studio.
Chinese food.
We're in the fifth night between the Chinese food and the jelly donuts. I'm literally just going to float out of the studio on an oil slick later tonight after the show.
Oh,
But
I am really proud of them. Check this out. They're using Adobe's content credentials right here. Now, you've seen this on LinkedIn. You should start to look for it everywhere. It's invisible, and it always has been there for ChatGPT images. Now, what we got to do is convince Facebook and Meta to put that symbol in there and make it visible. So you don't go spinning around the internet being upset because some, little girl with her dog is, dying in a back of a boat and you want to find out if it's real or not. But of course, that's their whole game plan. And we can inspect those credentials, and here they are.
incidentally enough, Gemini or Google just announced today that Gemini 3 Flash can audit video files to determine if they were generated using VO3. They've got some sort of baked in hidden prompt underneath it that would allow them to do something similar with their video model. So they're starting to catch up in that regard.
Wow. So
it would be better if they used Authenticity Engine like everybody else, but
so Adobe came up with content authenticity. Gemini, Google came up with one also that they've always been embedding. So it's always there. And now what you're seeing here is this is Adobe's content authenticity. So you can actually see when it was created. If I then take it over to Photoshop and I make things to it, it's fingerprinted on this device right here, TruePic Lens. OpenAI is the thing. It was opened up. If I go then and change it, it will show me the provenance list of everything that's done to it. So I could take this over to Photoshop, bring it back, and it's a drag and drop. So you can't take it out. It's not like the old copyright protection, right? Remember how you used to download music and then you thought you get away with it? And then they took off and they put protections on there. This is indelible because it's woven in the fabric of the image. Even if I printed this on a T-shirt, ripped the T-shirt in half, it would still find the credentials for this, or at the very least. And so I think this needs to go all the way to the bank and protect people's ownership of their own property, which would be really great. So that's where we are. And then we'll bring up one other thing, which is all the apps that now plug in. So
this is, to me, yesterday was a watershed moment in digital history. So we had the moment that everybody knows with Steve Jobs on stage in 2007 with the iPhone. Yep. And this was one of those moments yesterday when all of a sudden at about 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm scrolling Twitter, or X as the kids call it. And all of my posts wall to wall on the For You feed or whatever they call it was essentially you can now talk to my thing, my company, this tool inside of ChatGPT. So you can literally talk to the internet through these tools, whether it be Asana or Salesforce was in there. They've got some lifestyle apps like Booking.com that they demoed live at the Dev Day. But
so all the Adobe products are there. You've got Figma. If you guys are designers, Figma's built in. So you literally can prompt an entire website interface design. So my students that are in the class that spent an entire 16 weeks learning Figma can now just ask for what they want.
And if you didn't take Rick's class, you can also talk to Lovable directly in ChatGPT, and you could give it the worst prompt that you can think of, and it'll still spit out something beautiful. But I think that this is going to be the new economy in 2026. I think we're going to see brands and consumer brands jumping on a trend where you're going to start to see commercials ask ChatGPT for a recommendation for a Coca-Cola drink, or order your Pizza Hut delivery directly from your ChatGPT app. They want to become the everything app, and this was the next thing that they needed to do. And it makes whatever Johnny Ives is cooking in the background all much more important.
Yes. So even if I wanted to order an Uber, or I have a Zillow account, let me connect that up. So maybe if I want to go buy a house, so you have to connect each one. So you're consciously understanding that you're connected. And then what you do is you can go back and start a new chat, and you can start with the @ symbol, right? So you just say @, and then you can ask for Figma, Photoshop, Zillow, whatever you've connected up. So if I want to go to Zillow, let me just type this in. Me a house in Miami for under $1 million near downtown and the airport.
AI is good, but it's not a magic maker. I mean, it's not a genie in a bottle. We have Genie listening in, but finding a house under $1 million
is the one and only Genie in a bottle
near the Miami airport is well, I don't know. You might have to share your screen again because we did lose your screen share when you started talking. But the point is that this is going to be the next best thing in AI and technology in 2026. It feels like what the GPT store could have been. Like that was the flash in the pan. Like you can still do custom GPTs, and they're amazing. They serve their purpose, but this feels like the big leagues. This feels like we just had that watershed moment where the world changed, as Kyle Shannon says on AI Learning Lab, and nobody knows it yet.
Right. So it's having some trouble doing this. So you can watch there it goes. So now this is plugging in. I guess it's looking to make a map for me. I don't know. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, holy cow. Okay, so there's a bunch of them under that. So, 475. So let's see what this experience is like. So I haven't done this. So now we're there. Ooh, yeah, that's what you get for 475. What do you get for 475 in Cleveland there, Brandon?
I think that
looks like a crack house. This one's not bad.
Could fit inside for $500,000 in Northeast Ohio. That looks like a 3-car garage that's associated with one of the houses that you can get for $500,000 in 500,000 in
these are not good. This is the house I'm actually looking for probably about 750, 800, maybe something like that.
To be fair, you didn't ask it to find you a safe house or a good house. You just said find
one
a
that's
house.
Not infested with crack cocaine. I mean, it's like they're not doing fentanyl in the backyard. So if you get down to where you want to be, so Coral Gables, if you take a look at that, that's one of the choices places. What is this? Oh, user request. Okay, so there we go. So Coral Gables, no, that's 2.2 million and above. So I know we
just had a comment on the feed that OpenAI used us and our GPTs for the idea and the structure, but I disagree in the sense that they're a research company that accidentally stumbled into being a consumer brand, right? That was never their goal. Even when they launched ChatGPT, they didn't think that it was going to be a big thing. They went out for
They,
drinks that
they
night because
left
they're like,
that
oh, whatever,
long
we'll turn
before
up.
when Elon Musk they're no longer a laboratory for privileging people. They're they're privileging themselves. Let's be real about this.
Right, but
Um,
I think to that point, there's still a little bit of them that wants to be that research innovation arm. Like they still have that
yeah,
R&D feel. So
yeah,
I would say less cynically than some of our listeners that we are willing research participants in the AI frontier model. If you
yes,
want the sanitized experience, wait a year and then we can be on the app store together. But
yeah,
I think there's something to be said for being first and being on that cutting edge, knowing full well that they're going to train on all our data and our early image models are going to have 8 fingers and we're going to see a continuation of improvement on iterative models. Yes, we are
yeah.
willing. Shut up
What
and
I
take
think
our
is,
money is what we say.
yeah. Well, as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing every time I sign into everything, I'm using my Gmail account. If that ever goes down, I'm dead. Like I literally can't even. So I'm starting an account here by just clicking on buttons, and there I am. So yeah, it's getting easier. So is it making your life easier? Yeah, I think so. Um, and I'm granting permissions to Google to take over my entire life right now. Although weirdly going through. So this is the product you were talking about, Asana. Is that what you were saying? We were looking for a place to keep tasks
Yeah,
running and
Asana or Trello. I mean, Asana is built into
okay.
ChatGPT, so why not? But I was leaning towards Trello, but Trello might have one too. Who knows?
Okay. And
I don't even know if
so we
Trello
get
is in
back
there.
to so the
But
categories
Jeannie,
that are
there is
there.
a
There's Replit and there's Lovable. Let's go ahead and sign that
yes.
up, right?
And
So that
to the
tell
question
us
of
about
whether
Lovable.
they're going to have a user apps area for building out, I think that's the eventual goal. I think they want to democratize the OpenAI philosophy is democratizing access. So you see this with Codex and you see
Right.
this with some of their other models that they're doing with their coding capabilities. What I think the differentiator is, do you want to be a casual player in the space and spin up a little fun app, or do you want to build the McDonald's app? And if you want to build the McDonald's app, you're going to need to learn how to code. You're going to need how to use their what's called SDK or standard development kit. You're going to need to learn how to spin up an MCP server, which they require. There's
Oh,
some
okay.
sweat equity.
Let's stop a second because I want to add value to people's lives. So let's go with
Yes.
SDK and NCP. Define that a little bit more in layman's terms, like it's a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah, yeah. So SDK is the standard development kit. It's basically a preset set of instructions for if you're going to build an OpenAI app, here's how you do
Okay.
it. But it's written for an audience of developers, a developer mindset.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Android has an SDK, Apple has an SDK. So if you want to build an iPhone app, theoretically, you're supposed to be able to know how to do and interpret an SDK. There are
Right.
companies out there now like a0.dev where you can vibe code an app. Actually, one of our colleagues in the AI Salon, Noemi, has an app that is in like preview mode or beta mode and about to get approved for the App Store. She's never read an SDK. She didn't set up an MCP or a model context protocol, which is basically the infrastructure behind what people are doing these things on and building these things on. So I think to your point, Jeannie, the back end layer will still always be a kind of a walled garden and a gated community for developers and people who are on that track. But I think you're going to start to see tools like Lovable get more powerful and bridge the gap and close the gap between them. Where 20 years ago, if you wanted to build an app or a web page, you needed a programmer. Today, you need $20 and a lot of patience.
Wow. So I had been talking about going to Turkey. Oh, so SDK, that's one. So it's basically communicating between one app and another. So right now I'm going from ChatGPT and I've just gone on and signed up with a bunch of others. Without a clear communications, if you're speaking French to German, that's your translator between the two applications, right?
Yep. And
Okay.
the important thing
And
is
what
that
is
the industry,
MCP? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, the industry is starting to consolidate and synthesize around these things. So, as important as it is, if you want to go deep into those worlds, if you want to be establishing yourself as a subject matter expert, as somebody who builds apps professionally for the OpenAI app marketplace, those are very important terms for you to know. And there's tons of resources out there. Google, MIT, they all have, even OpenAI has its own educational arm that you could go and learn at depth what an MCP server is, what an SDK is, and how to code for it.
Yeah, so
I
let's
think
make it let's make it easy for them. So an
yeah, I
MCP,
don't think that, and that's my point, Rick. Is
what's
I don't think we're gonna have to, because I think it's gonna be, if we use Suno as the equivalent. I don't know how to play the vibraphone or the harmonica,
right?
but I
Yeah,
don't
but so for
need
those
to. Like, I
people
don't
doing it
need to
today,
know how to read music
yeah,
to develop a Suno song and know that it
we're
makes a good
still. I mean,
Suno
let's be
song.
honest. We're still at the you got to change your oil or get somebody to do it for you phase, right? So these are the places. The hotel. So I was originally going to Turkey to get the whole CT, MRI, health stress test, everything you got right. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, I've got a friend that runs these health tourism things where you go for a week and then they have week-long testing for medical things. Here is the best place to do it." So I just connected, and how long did it take me? 5 minutes. And here's the hotel I go to. And this is the Hyatt that is recommending, less than a mile from the CIMA hospital. That's the place where my friend was talking about it. And then I go to the website, and here I am. And I can check in and I can book it, right? Sign in and join through my account is what they'll want me to do, of course. That looks nice, right? Just a quarter, I could walk there, right? Walk across the street, get my tests, and then get a facelift. Or I don't even know what I'm going to do there. But I am going to be filming it all just so you guys get to enjoy the trip along with me, right? But I found out, first of all, it was so I can take a look at what it did in its thinking. And I asked the simple question, tell me a place in Costa Rica that's near the health tourism areas. And then it gave me its recommendations. And then here's the links to all of them. So this is as good as Perplexity because we've got actually links we follow up on. We've got the citation over here to the right, which I just had to ask for. I can add people to the conversations. So, I can start a group chat. So that's also new. Not that long ago, like was 2 weeks ago, they did this, I guess. So I can copy that link and then I can send it to a friend of mine in a chat. In fact, since I copied it on my desktop, right now I'm going to send to my roommate who's in the other room. I'm going to go and paste it on my phone. So copy and paste between two Apple devices is just one thing away. And then she can come in with this invitation and start talking back and forth because she's going to go with me. Being a flight attendant, she probably has a discount in one of the hotels. So now we're in the conversation with each other, right? So that's really where we're getting, right? We're getting to the point where, like you said, you don't have to know how to change the oil, but you got ChatGPT if you want to show it as you're changing the oil. In fact, one of the most amazing ones I saw recently is there's a YouTube video that went kind of viral. This guy who knew how to change oil in a car, but it went through every single little thing. And I remember changing the oil myself. My dad taught me how. Because I used to, my Volkswagen, I'd change oil. It was really simple on a Volkswagen, of course. So you just had to tighten the bolt, then loosen it, and then, don't dump it in some lake or creek, that kind of stuff, and put it up on some blocks or whatever, and make sure the wheels are. And can you change the tires on your car if you had a flat?
I have 1-800 AAA.
There you go. Right. So that's where we are. But just, I want to do for my own self. So
I will say, though, this is how dependent we've become.
Yeah.
Honestly, no. I've not changed a tire.
Yeah.
But I bet I could take a picture of the tire and go to ChatGPT and say, hey,
do you know, for example, that your car, most modern day cars come with a tool specifically made for your tires to take them off, that you have to have it. It's typically in your glove compartment. But if you don't have that, you can't get the tire off with a regular jack because it's custom made for each car. Now the people at AAA have a universal one. Did you have any idea about that, or was that outside your?
No, that is so far outside my realm.
So that's kind of it. So the other question that came from that fourth grade trip that my friend made, he put this on LinkedIn, was write down 3 phone numbers of people from your family. And honestly, I couldn't anymore. I grew up with that. So they did cognitive load
You
testing.
could give them 3 phone numbers from your childhood because those are seared into long-term memory.
Yeah, right. I could tell you my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Jones, and taught me English. And she would sing happy birthday, and she would take her pearls and just kind of go around the room. So it was a little odd. And then Mrs. Main, I remember my French teacher, 3 years of French, parlez-vous français? She was too cute. And she would sit in her short skirt right up on the table. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Are your kids around? I better shut up here. Be more polite. But like that's how this is, right? So I can go in here and use the Atlas. Now, what is this thing? Download for the. What is this? What is Atlas?
Yeah, so ChatGPT Atlas is their browser. So we're going to be talking about Comet in a little bit. Atlas is their ChatGPT agentic browser for Mac only.
Okay.
And Google has also, not that they haven't spread the Gemini brand far enough, they now have an experiment and a waitlist for Google Disco, which is their agentic browser. Not to be confused with Chrome that has Gemini built into it. They're also going to have Google Disco or Disco.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So Chrome is what I'm using right now. So this is, I'll just give you a startup look at what I'm about to do. Am I in the right place? Yeah, I am. Okay. So here is my assistant. You can see this is Perplexity off to the right. So I can have Perplexity ask anything I want to here. And this is full blown.
You're using Comet.
Yes. So this is the Comet browser. And some of the cool things about the Comet browser is that you can go, here's a Google Notebook.
Hang on. I'm gonna pause you right there.
Okay.
Just because we're gonna land the plane on what's happening with the Apple Store and the App Store, just because we're gonna do Comet as our tool time. But overall, it's all evolving so fast. Even Meta's out there with Segment Anything, where they're doing things with audio or spatial audio, where you can isolate a audio track. So you've got a woman talking and there's background noise. It can pick up and isolate the woman talking. It's phenomenal, and it's in their playground. We'll have to look at that on a future episode. But I think going back to what Jeannie was saying earlier about access and where does it leave us, and I think there's 2 things. It's one, it leaves us with unbridled opportunity. It's a renaissance of opportunity. But how does capitalism and the economy respond to a renaissance? We've never tested that before. And I think what it comes down to,
I'll say the opposite.
Other places have, and it hasn't worked out so well for capitalism. But
humans are incompatible with capitalism. I'm going to say it the opposite of Peter Thiel. Humans are incompatible with capitalism. It's an extraction event. Humans are not about extraction. They're adding value. So we're the opposite of capitalists. Sorry, folks.
Yes.
Greed is not good, never has been, nor any of the 7 deadly sins, which our current president has. All of is in spades. Oh, my God.
And as far as, but Rick, the thing is, as far as the capitalism and gatekeeping, because to Jeannie's point, they can lock down the models, Google, Meta, all of the frontier models. We are one terms of service update away from it all going away to a point. However, what is the dark horse here is the open source models. Meta, in the one thing that they've done, even though they're harvesting all our data, and I know you have thoughts on Meta.
Yeah.
That being said, they did open source, right? It's everybody, but they did open source, so you could download Olama and have it on your local hard drive, and you can also have Gemini in your command line interface and have that on your local system. And
on
that,
your phone?
even if the wall garden goes up tomorrow, you can still have access to this technology. And I think it's going to be the democratization that that we're going to have to figure out a whole new paradigm on how to educate people, on how to train people for the workspace and everything.
We're in the most existential change in all human history. This is bigger than fire, folks. I'm dead serious about this. Because let me break down a couple things you just said that maybe you didn't realize. Well, I'm sure you realize you said it, right? First of all,
I don't listen to myself when I talk. So
everything you get for free, you are the product. You're training the models when you do it for free. If you pay for it, they're minimally invasive. If I pay for Google, my email is still being read. When I use my device at home, which I got for free, except for the device itself, which the money went to that company, right? So it's an extraction economy, but we're getting to a point where the cost of running the service is nearing zero. So literally, and we don't care about our privacy anymore. And this gets back to the full circle, right? We started giving up our privacy when I realized. So when I went to China, they have a full handprint of both my hands to get in the country every time I went. And I thought, well, that's invasive. What would they possibly do with that? Well, Cambridge Analytica, looked that up, and you'll find out what Facebook did. They got your friends to opt in, and then when you opted in, they opted in all your friends, and all the data went to them, and they settled in $100 billion, which was penny change for them or whatever it was. So anyway, we're getting to the point where it's such a minute one drop in the pond that it doesn't really matter if I keep using Google to keep on signing into every account. So now they know everything about everything. Now, if the Chinese got in there and they want to do bad things with that information, potentially they could. But if Larry from
Oracle, Larry Ellison from Oracle.
Yeah. Larry Ellison. Sorry. Yes, Larry Ellison. You're right. Larry Ellison and Peter Thiel got together, and then they have the back door on all of that information. Now they seriously have capabilities to do things. And the question is, what are they going to do before we stop them? It's still a democracy, last I checked, although I got to take the pulse on it every once in a while.
Yeah. And to Jeannie's point, as a society, we are largely not getting ready, although the government is starting to respond. We saw Trump sign the executive order saying that states aren't allowed to regulate AI, which is kind of ironic considering how much they champion states' rights in other areas of society.
Yeah, that's
that
a whole
being
Republican
said,
thing too.
It's a whole nother conversation. But what I will say, Jeannie, is that we can pivot quickly when pushed, and just look at the pandemic as evidence of that. For a generation,
we sucked at
we
that too.
told
By the
people
way,
you have to be in. Well, yes, but as a generation,
talked to 100,000 people, 100 million people.
You have to be in the office. You have to be in the office 9 to 5, 40-hour work week. You're not productive if you're not home. And then on a dime, the world changed and said, "Oh, we don't need that anymore." And if the profit centers weren't so driven by corporate real estate transactions in downtown, we'd probably also be working from home.
Yeah.
But I think that as a society, when the dam finally breaks and the bubble finally bursts on AI and everything is available at scale to everybody, they're not going to have a choice, because people will just say, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, because the only thing that we've had up to this point, and David Shapiro, if you're really interested in post-labor economics, he did 7 absolutely existentially brilliant podcasts about it, and it's continuing to do so. So David Shapiro, I'm going to make a list of the people you should follow. He's one of the top 5, I would suggest. I would say the Moonshot guys, DeMantis and his group, is definitely, if you're a business person or you're looking to invest in AI and see, they're super optimistic. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. That's another new episode. But the big thing about this, the big think about it is, we are at a time of change, and what you and I want to be is just the happy voice in the thing. But also, we're not here with blinders on. We know that we're copper top batteries sometimes, and we're living in an extraction economy that doesn't serve us, we the people. It's more about them, the people. And just look at, cost of living for the common person, and my taxes and my insurance doubling every year. and not privileging people and people not having the support that they need. I'm
we're sorry, Mr. McCauley. You want the AI analysis on your MRI? That's in the PPO plan. You're not in that threshold.
That's why I'm going to another country to get this health survey, right? I haven't been to a primary care physician in 6 years. So that means so I go to my endocrinologist 4 times a year, and I pay him $50 each time because I have to go in for blood work. And then I finally figured out if you go in the blood work within a 4-hour period of time as your exam, you pay 1 copay instead of 2. And nobody told me that, of course, because they make more money. I don't want to talk about my dentist. That's another thing altogether. So I'm going to get dental work over in another country. And then I'm going to get health exams and MRIs for 1/10 the cost here.
So I got 2 things as we go to land the plane.
Yeah.
Interesting that the USA does not have health tourism.
Is there any other news happening?
So 2 things to land the plane before we get into Comet and the world of agentic browsers. Please stick around for that. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to see what Rick's put together for us in terms of how he's using Comet to 10x his life. One is Gemini deep research inside of Gemini. If you just go to gemini.google.com and do some deep research, it has some new capabilities now where if you prompt it, depending on what you ask it to do for you, it has the ability to create images through Nano Banana, charts, and what they're calling simulations. And I did not have time to figure out what they meant by simulations, but I think it has something to do with world building and starting to see like planets rotating around with realistic physics. And the other thing that along Google's lines, you can now use your notebook LMs as a source inside of Gemini. So if you're chatting with Gemini, you can tap in to an existing notebook LM that you've made and just have a conversation with it inside of your Gemini interface. So the Google ecosystem is collapsing in on itself, and they are tightening that noose around OpenAI's neck. But on a lighter note, next week is Christmas. Next Thursday is Christmas Day. And so we will most likely, Rick and I have not chatted about this yet, but we will most likely be pre-recorded. We will have some content for you.
Yeah,
it's going to be light and festive. Maybe we'll make some Nano Banana cookies and milk or something like that. We'll have Rick dressed up as Santa using the new ChatGPT 1.5 image models. But if we don't talk to you live before the end of the year, from Rick and myself, I want to thank you for being a part of this journey that we've been on together for the past 4 months or so, as we've been just trying to figure it out and stay in the conversation and be shepherds and liaisons to the world of AI, to our 500 now plus subscribers. And, if our ask, the best gift you can give to us this holiday season, if you enjoy our content, is to share this channel and to share this content with somebody who you feel would be potentially impacted by it. We've got so many more great plans in store for 2026 as we continue to grow the channel. And with that, Rick, you need to start your screen share. I'm going to be on it watch you like a hawk to make sure that screen share stays active for you this time. But
is it not?
If you haven't downloaded, it is not on yet. But if you haven't downloaded Comet is Perplexity's AI browser, and Perplexity does have a free tier, but also if you have Venmo or PayPal or you're a student, you can access Perplexity Pro for free for a 1-year trial, and then you get Comet as part of that for free. And so you get that agentic assisted inside of Comet browser for free if you just sign up for the 1-year free trial with PayPal, Venmo, or a student email address. And so with that being said, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas,
thank you. Same to
and
you.
I will probably see you at the end of the show to help you land the plane, Rick. But this is Comet Tool Time.
30 minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCauley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition.
Are with Comet as our subject tonight on Tool Time. I'm Rick McCauley, the AI guy, and I wanted to show you, start off with just here's the website. So we can see now 500 subscribers and 237 videos. And thanks to my new friend Comet, you'll see here on the side. So Comet's a browser, it's Chrome actually, and it's made by Perplexity. So let me take a look at a couple of things that are fresh to the website. The YouTube channel, I should say. So you can always find me on right there, Rick McCauley. We're going to be showing a lot of subscriptions that I have. Matt Wolf for sure. Andrew Lane for design is pretty cool. Curious Refuge for video. Theoretically Media. David Shapiro, for example. And then I want to show you a couple of new things that I'm featuring. This is what is Notebook LM's video overview. And then I've made some really beautiful ones. And here's an example just to give you an idea. So these video overviews, if you hadn't made them yet, also include Nana Banana for the imaging you're seeing here. So this is one where I've asked it to talk about me. And then here's a description that I used Comet to write for me. Actually, I don't think this one's done yet. So let's go ahead and see what it takes to get this done. So over here on my assistant on the side, I'm just going to come over here. And so let me just show you what it looks like. I hit the top right-hand corner, it has assistant, and I can come in here and ask it to summarize the video on screen. So it can see what's on your screen. And since there's already closed captioning in there, it's going to start looking at this. And here it is. This video presents Professor McCauley as an AI humanist using ambitious moonshot projects at the center of AI education and the future of work. Rick's background and vision. The narrator frames AI as the AI guy. His journey started the Miami Herald, capturing reality, and shifts to using the new camera, right? So this literally is in an instant, and this happens to be built in. So I can copy this information. I can then go on over to Perplexity itself if I want to. I can also take it and have it rewrite these things for me. So rewrite, and I think this the description and title for this YouTube video to be better. So I'm going to have it rewrite it. I don't know if I have to sign in here. You can see it's glowing the screen here. So it's actually looking at this. It's looking at the transcripts of the entire episode. It's then rewriting it based upon this. It's going to go over here and take into the create. So I actually had it do the entire thing. So option number 1, recommended title, Rick McCauley, building AI moonshots that put humans first. The AI humanist, option number 2, is curiosity driven. So I've already done this with a dozen of them. Based on this, here's what we recommend. That sounds great. Let's go with option number 2, confronting the digital abyss, his philosophy, find your North Star mission, become a better version of yourself every day, and dedicate your life to service. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to say. That's not what it says right now, right? This is something I wrote by hand. Please do option 1. So it's going to take control of my screen and do this. So I literally did 20 episodes, some of them from very long time ago. In fact, I've forgotten that I did a beautiful episode with Flip Schulke. So watch it. It's actually right now rewriting to make this engageable. In fact, I've already told it that I want to do certain things. I want to make myself more human. I loaded up an entire zeitgeist of what my mission is with using this website, how I'm trying to get more engagement. It's going to make this and summarize it, put emojis in there, as you'll see in just a second. So it's clicking and editing the video button, updating the video option number 1, update the description. So it's click to edit the video button to access the video settings, updating video titles right now. It rewrote it. Take a look at this. Look at, here's all the projects that I've been working on. Confronting the digital abyss. Look at the emoji in there, right? So now it's rewritten the entire thing. I could get it to make a new thumbnail for me if I want to, because it has video capabilities. I've used it to take a stream of prompts and put them into ChatGPT. So it's taking control of any of the open windows that you have. So I could say, look and close any windows I haven't used in the last 10 minutes. Or I could have it overnight, spend the entire night rewriting every single one. So it successfully did it. Here's the new title, Building AI Moonshots that put humans first, the AI humanist. Wow. A compelling opening with your rocket ship metaphor, structured sections. So it tells me why it did each one. All the projects I'm working on, these are the real projects I'm working on. These are my moonshots right there. Professional bio highlighting Broward College position, the Miami Herald background, SEO optimized hashtags. There you go. AI, artificial intelligence, human-centered. Oh my goodness. So look how long that took me. And then I could come over here and I could go back to my channel. So here's all the ones that it actually rewrote for me. And if I go down and take a look way, way deep, this was 1980 something another. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to go back to my channel. And so now it's relinquished the control back to me. I can leave it hanging out there. And I'm going to go look for my videos. And I'm going to go way, way down deep. So here's my music videos. You can see all those here. These are all free, folks. So please enjoy. All of these are going to get a real nice update as I'm figuring things out. Here is the classes, the presentation I did for School of Visual Arts in New York. Here is the a TV show I did with my community expert, what's his name? Andrew Kavanaugh. Sorry about that. We've done a bunch of episodes together. Here's back in the day when I was doing Mid-Journey for the very first time and the kind of stuff I was doing back then. Here's travel photographs that you can watch all over the world and all kinds of stuff. Here's when I was teaching Lightroom classes. Here am I diving in Iceland, right? So you got to check this out because this is literally Iceland. The temperature is 34 degrees. This is the tectonic plates for the North American and the European continents on the left and the right there. And we're wearing dry suits, and that's me shooting it. You'll see me flip around. That's me holding a GoPro with a dry suit. First time I've been diving in a dry suit. And there I am going through the whole thing, right? So I can have it rewrite the part of this. Crystal clear water, just kind of an amazing place. Let me go back and take a look a little bit deeper. What else is in here? This thing goes on forever, folks. I've been doing this for a while, 237 videos. And then if we go really deep, so you can see me playing with some sharks up here. Those are just little tiny reef sharks. That's kind of fun. You get diving with dolphins. That's got a lot of views on it. The Aurora Borealis, 678 views. And then here is a very famous, let me go down to Flip Schulke. I think I've got him somewhere in here. Where is Flip? Here, Flip Schulke, right? So he's an incredible, famous photographer.
Hi, my name is Rick Farley. Welcome to the website. Today with us on the show is Flip Schulke. Pretty outstanding photographer.
So to take a look at, I mean, he photographed Martin Luther King from the very first days. George Wallace. He has a book. It has the most photographs of Martin Luther King ever. He was actually hired by Jet Magazine because he was a white man, and even to go watch Martin Luther King do his speeches, that black men weren't allowed to stay in the hotels nearby. So he worked for Jet Magazine, Life Magazine, and many others. He photographed, there's the school book depository. There he is photographing Castro right when he overthrew the country. There's just all kinds of stuff. Here he is in Beirut in a part of a scene. Let me go a little bit forward. Now, this is done for public broadcasting. So I did 12 photographers, all very famous, world-renowned, probably the picture you most. So here's Ebony Magazine. So the flight crew that was all black. Here he is photographing orcas underwater. I got to know him because of scuba diving. And there's the stuff he did for the Challenger. So he did all the underwater photography. That was his specialty, as it was mine. And I got to know him back when I worked for the Herald and had him on my show. He passed away in 2008, and I rebroadcast. One of the pictures I was looking for is he has a very famous picture. There he is with Kennedy photographing him. So if you saw the pictures of these people, it was his photographs. This is his photograph. The quality, of course, is horrible. In fact, maybe I should go back and up-res the entire thing. There's a picture of Muhammad Ali, who he photographed in Miami all the time. He lived in Miami most of his life, and this was his base of operations. So it rewrote the description for this. So check this out. So here's what it said about it. A rare 27-minute interview with Rick McCauley, legendary WLRN TV series photo essay, 1986, a 12-part documentary capturing the voices and visions of history's greatest photographers. And so that's what the whole thing. And then there's his website. So you can go right from there. So this is ChatGPT rewrote it. Oh, there's the photograph I was looking for. So if you want to see pictures of Martin Luther King, this is Flip Schulke's. Of course, he's passed away since, but these are all photographs he took that you probably recognize. He made all these photographs. Here's his pictures of civil rights, pictures of Castro. So these famous photographs, that you saw, that you've probably seen throughout history, of the white dove landing on his shoulder as he's speaking. That's an amazing photograph. That's Flip Schulke. So you can buy these photographs and you can find out more about Flip. So why I'm bringing this up is because since I can use the assistant as a live assistant anywhere I am, it can do things like this. It can take control. So if I go over to Notebook LM, it could actually probably do stuff in here as well. And then if I go over to Perplexity, which is what it's built upon, is using Perplexity Engine. So if you didn't know what it's built on, I can upload photographs, screenshots, or browse for me. Let it pick the best websites and put them up there for me, right? So I can use it in so many ways. I can have it research as I'm working on something else. So if I'm in here, so for today, I'm going to show you some of the stuff I just did in Notebook LM. And probably this is AI TV show. So I wanted to talk about, like, here is an entire thing, a biography of basically my projects done in the style of Shepard Fairey and Russian constructivists. So this is a multi-page document. And this is about me. So it's talking about me. So I loaded up all the stuff I'm working on. We're at a nexus point. The most powerful tools in human history are in our hands. The following projects, not only a roadmap, they are a declaration of principles from Professor Rick McCauley, a call to become active agents for change in the age of AI. They are a guide to building a future worthy of our humanity, worthy of our humanity, and the choice is ours. The time is now. So these are the projects I'm working on. Hello USA, that you saw last week, that Brandon and I worked on with Oscar to make that a real thing. The Rescue Connect, the definition of humanity. So these are books about the first kiss and the last goodbye. So it took all this. This is my musical, The Year Without Summer. So this is loaded up, and this is basically all the things I'm doing. Upskill USA. Look at these beautiful, really iconic illustrations. So if that's not enough, what's cool about it is, here's all my research on the side. So for the takeaway today, I wanted to do a couple of things. So here is a blueprint of humanity. So this is based on my information. So it's a PowerPoint presentation ready to go that talks about all the human capital investment. This is about my Rocket Ship for the Mind book. Here's about my Upskill USA. You notice that this is the same information prompted slightly differently. And then here is what I prompted. Give me a highly visual journey through the portrait of Professor Rick McCauley and his greatest moonshot project. So I'm just talking about it, and then it makes it. So to give you a real worthwhile, I'm going to put comment out of the way for a minute. So I'm just going to turn off the assistant because I don't really want it. But now what's cool about this is, what if I wanted to open up another tab? So I want to actually split the screen. Now I'm trying to remember how I do this again. Is it right here?
Speaking of splitting the screen, we've lost your screen.
Oh, no. How long ago?
Just about 30 seconds ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me go back to StreamYard. Get back on the screen. I think it seems when I go to the keyboard, it sometimes just doesn't want to be there. Well, maybe I'll just pick the Comet browser. That way I can share sound too. Let me see if this works. There we go. Yeah, you seeing the Comet browser?
Yes, now we're seeing it.
Okay. So I can create infographics the same way. Now, what I'm suggesting here, so this has a very rich description. So the words I keep using over and over again, professor's making a startling portrait on the left. Renaissance portrait of the visionary, banner across the top should read Professor Rick Macaulay, human-centric AI visionary. So it followed that perfectly. 8 focused moonshot projects, which shows the vision and humanity in the projects. So this is what it did. Upskill USA, Rocket Ship for the Mind. Here's my Grok trilogy of books. Here's my Year Without Summer play as a playbill. Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist, senior professor, human-centric. So I loaded up my resume, Rescue Connect, Hello USA, my Care app, all of it beautifully illustrated as if I'm some sort of like Rhodes Scholar, you know. I got a couple of degrees under my belt, so that's kind of cool. So what's cool about this is you load up all the information about you. So I actually took the AI TV episodes and copied and pasted. So let me walk you through Notebook LM. So this is going to be the second takeaway. First is Comet Browser can take over. It can be that question. So don't tell Kyle that I do this, but I'm listening to his show, and I have Perplexity listening also. And when I have a question and some idea I want to add value to it, I then get on there and I start to type in, give me something bright to say about this moment, right? And then I said, you got to make it 200 characters. That's all it fits in the comment section when he's live, right? And then I sound like I'm a brilliant guy because I've got that AI agent kind of thinking about what I'm thinking about, but then going and doing it. So let me break it down for you. If you haven't used this before, please, oh God, please do use it, because I'm going to show you a dozen ways that you use it. I'm using it to actually just create still images for making a movie. So I'm going to use it for the storyboarding of my Grok movie. Wow. Okay. So here's what you do. You start with sources. Now, what's kind of the cool thing to do is you can actually hook it up to your Google Drive. So everything you've got on the Google Drive, you can say, take this whole folder and just dump it right in there. So if I'm doing my music, there's all my music I've worked on. Let me just have it take this whole thing here and all the rest of them here and just kind of insert those as content. 300 different documents. If you have 300 YouTube videos, you can put them in here. Here's even better. Go right here and you can search the web or the drive, and then you can go search for fast search or deep dive. So here's what we're going to do. And as I'm doing this, I can't talk and type at the same time. To Rick Macaulay on the internet. Okay, so I can spell references correctly, and I can spell the correctly, and I think I'm okay. Although it seems to think that's not spelled correctly. So I'm going to do a fast research right now because there's so many pages, right? So it's going to go out there and find websites. So look at the types of sources we can do. We can look for Google Drive, a website link. Look at all these file types: text, markdown, PDFs, GIFs, JPEGs, etc. Just all of them, right? Upload a file of any type that's there. A website, you can put in multiple websites. So what's cool here is you can sit there and just put a space bar between each one. So you add multiple URLs, separate with a space or a new line. So I can copy and paste. I could use Comet to go look for stuff about me and make a space delimited bunch of things and copy and paste the whole thing in here at once. And then, oh my goodness, I never thought about doing that. Or I can do it like you see here. And then it's now going to show me, let me view it these, let me make sure these are ones that I want. Photo workshops Miami. Okay, that sounds good. Broward College topography class that I taught. Okay, let's import those. If I did a deep dive, it'll do upwards of 50 different things. As they come in, you'll see if it's behind a paywall, it'll come up with a red mark. And then you can decide, don't train on that, right? So then I can come to, so that's the input. It literally is all knowledge you want it to find out there on the internet. So here's, and by the way, I can find out underwater. Is that a website? Yeah, that's a website. Here we go. I can go take a look at it. There's the summary of it that talks about what's going on there. Digital snippet, contact information. Okay, that's not that interesting. Let's go back to the sources. Let me find, here's Miami-Dade. Here is a thing I did for Miami-Dade College. Here's a summary of it. Here's the actual content. And I can go to the website. And there's the presentation I did. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is a presentation I left for them. I'm not quite sure what. I don't even remember doing this. You can tell I do a lot of things. And there it is. So somehow it found this document. This was from my own hard drive, right? And so it has the sources back to your information. I could basically do anything I want. It's kind of nuts. So it goes back to where the sources came from. And if I found some new thing that I just found out about, then I could come here and the most important, tell me the most important web references you found about me. Okay. And then it's going to do that. So it's input, it's chat. So you're taking some big thing. I want to talk about Rick McCauley. I want to talk about photography. I want to talk about the newest flash that came out. And then come in here and refine your topic. So when you have a broad thesis, what do you do with the thesis? You then decide what you're going to talk about and what you're not going to talk about. And it's not finding very much here. But then I could save it as a note, copy and paste it. Or I can ask all the information that's here. Here we go. There's my personal website. There's my YouTube channel. There's my LinkedIn. There's my workshops for the Miami, the studio. Let me go take a look at that. There's Rick McCauley's website, Miami Street Photography Festival. Let me take a look at that. He's a judge. Okay, that's cool. Let me go find the Miami Street Photography Festival. There you go. So I was a speaker and a judge at the Miami Street Photography Festival, which no longer exists, unfortunately. But we had this in the History Miami Museum. There it is. We had the entire History Miami and the library taken over for 15 years. This festival established in 2012. I was one of the founding members and spoke multiple times at it. We had Bruce Gilden, Nicholas Eponymous, Stella Johnson. This was just 1 year. Viet Vihora. These are some of the most current workshops. Here we go. So these are the workshops that we had with these famous photographers. And I got to be and there's our exhibition of prints. These are the winners from over 70 countries worldwide. And the workshops lasted 2 weeks before and after during Art Basel. Boy, I wish we could bring that back. And so you can go with Juan Rios, who was the founder of this entire thing. These were all Magnum photographers, National Geographic photographers. Bruce Gilden is a legendary Magnum photographer. So this is sponsored by all these people. So I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff that we did. I mean, it was so extraordinary. So our last event was in 2020. And in fact, I think sadly, it was the last time I got to, and these are the winners of the competition. So this is the kind of wonderful street photography that I was a part of. So I could bring up my assistant over to the side. Tell me all about the Miami Street and Rick McCauley's. Okay, so it's going to be, as you're enjoying these beautiful pictures, and they are just quite extraordinary. Street photography, if you're not familiar with it, I call it the poet brother of documentary and photojournalism. It is just kind of this beautiful stuff that has really no, oops, forgot to hit go. Now, I could take this over and bring it on over and share it with people. I could add it to my list of different conversations. So, let's see, I think I can copy the query. Yep, I can edit the query. Here's all the different, here's the news influence. So I was a designer. Here we go. So there's Broward College. This is all about the Street Photography Festival there. That's from this group of things. And then the Miami Street Photography Festival, come back to that. Then I think this page is when I was speaking. Oh, this is the first one we did. We did it in Miami, and we've been featured in Harper's Bazaar magazine around town and everything. Just an amazing thing. And here I am able to kind of query all of that information. This also gets added to my Perplexity account, so I can jump over there and do it there as well. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this thing to work. How do I split the frame? That's, I thought, how I did it before. Add a new club. Close tabs. Okay. You can also adjust the distance between this, so you can have it take over. You can copy and paste it. So exhibit history, Macaulay's photographer, thinker, designer. There's my portfolio. rickmacaulay.com. Okay, so that's cool. And there's Miami Street Photography Festival. And I could go to, there you go. So past events, workshops, finalists, all that kind of stuff. I actually designed the website and kind of kept it going. There I am. So there's my whole bio. There's J. Thomas Lopez, University of Miami's chair of the Department of Art and Art History, who's since retired. I almost took his job. That would have been a different change of events. So getting back to this, this is a nexus point of all knowledge. And by using Comet on the side, that's Perplexity's web browser built on, and it has all the same plugins that you've been using in Chrome all along. So if you have Manus plugged in, you can use that at the same time. In fact, I've used Manus to copy and paste with Comet between different interfaces to do really complex tasks. I mean, it's kind of nuts. I can collapse the studio. I can expand it. I can do all kinds of stuff. So if I go back to this information, we can also take a look at other things I've been working on. And I'll take a look. So here's my book about Laura. And it's called, I don't think this is the one. It goes into the psychology and architecture of why this is a beautiful children's book. And here is a presentation about that exact idea. What is it about my book that's so important? It's about, it does not pay to leave a dragon on your couch. So I looked up Tolkien and thoughts about the traditional. So I asked for a psychoanalytical review of my book and what I did. And so the foundation is, it's taking the Imagine a World book that features my daughter. Now, in the original one, it's a blonde daughter, et cetera, et cetera. So I've changed it up a little bit here because I did some research and found some other things. We meet Laura, a young girl, and her cat named M, which is now called Shadow. That's another thing. But it's been based upon my research that I found here. The analysis, the bedtime ritual is the architectural act of pouring the foundation. It establishes physical safety, a cozy bed, emotional connection, laughter with mom, and a shared imaginative context where the wild things are. This ritual lowers cortisol and moves Laura's brain from a state of potential anxiety to one of creative readiness. So basically, it psychoanalyzed from the experts in psychology and story writers about the hero's journey. So I loaded up every single writer of children's books I could think of and what their thinking process. So characterize the problem, map its effects, evaluate the effects. Is that fair? Do you like what your fear is doing to you? And then justify why not? What do you want from your life instead? So it's gaining agency. So Laura separates her from her fears. So this is a psychological thing. And if you're watching Dr. Claire, I would love to have you come on and talk about the deep, really beautiful thing about facing your fears and confronting them. In fact, it used to be a magic wand that she would sort of raise. I've now made her the brave one, and her cat is the fraidy cat. And her cat's name is Shadow. So her shadow is the embodiment of her party dress turning into a monster. And then finding a monster is an external thing that she can talk to. And she realizes the characteristics of crying and loneliness is separate from her, but she can act to solve problems for others and therefore solve her own. It's a deep guide to profound the proximal zone. So this is Lev Wallet, I can't pronounce his name, but the theory posts that a gap, what a child can achieve independently and what they can achieve with guidance is the zone of proximal development. Learning is a social collaboration where a guide provides scaffolding to help the child traverse this zone. So basically this book is that journey. And then the breakthrough is the catastrophe. So basically, this is a core coin idea from Tolkien. So I'm having notes given to me by child psychologists, by Tolkien, and the study about what this is: fear and rehearsal, the narrative happening, the catastrophe. Laura finds out a paintbrush that glows with golden light. And then, no, we don't want to use the golden light. We want to have a real world. So Laura's resilience is being built with real problems she's facing the next day. And in her imagination, from her safe space, by reading a book and using her imagination, she can make those imaginary fears go away. And she can face the real ones in the real world. So this is the blueprint for the book. And I've changed it because it's not the flight of the deserter. It is the escape of the prisoner. That we're freeing our imagination is escaping a flight from the duties of the real world. Tolkien offered a critical distinction. This process is not about running away from life. We are giving children the tools to break out of their prison of their own fears and step into a larger, more resilient life. Wow. So I was sitting there. I did, just to give you an idea, I've done 350 in the last 4 nights that are as deep and about as many different weird things as you can imagine. So here is a book that I'm writing right now, and I'm just going to show you a preview. This is another book that I wrote 6 years ago, and this is the idea of it. There's 3 books in the series. I don't want to give away too much because I haven't got it copyrighted yet. So I'm just going to show you that. But there's the entire book. Here's the explainer and the pitch deck for the book. And here's the audio overview.
Welcome to the explainer. Okay.
And then what new things can you do here? You can get an infographic. You can get a slide deck, flashcards, a video overview. You can ask it questions here, and then you can go search for more things. So this happens to do with the input is just these 2 documents from my my Google Drive. So I'll start working in ChatGPT. I'll save it to my Google Drive. Then I'll come in here and I'll load up other sources. So I might load up, tell me 10 things about writing this book that might be helpful. Give me an outline of the book. And then I'll go over and I'll use always the customization feature. And I'll say, make a slide deck that does this in the style of. So some of the weird ones I've done. So to give you an idea of how much I use this, I filled up my account and I ran out. So I created a second account. And this is the one I was working on just today. So this one I still have. So I went into the history of photography. Then I started looking at, well, what can you tell me about the history of photography and the explosion of photography in the modern age? Let me see. How do I do this? Oh, there we go. So this is the birth of photography. How many images have been put up on the internet? So it goes through trillions of images per year by 2025. And then the AI frontier going forward. So it got like 2 little misspellings I just caught here. But that was a look at how many images are we putting up. And here's a different interpretation with a different stylistic interpretation, more of a cartoony style. And then if I want to go further, so give me, now it does this entire analysis of the amount of pictures that are being put up during that period of time. How many cave paintings were there? And then it breaks that down into billions per year, millions. So in the 1850s, 100,000 images were made per year in Paris alone. So that was people making photographs. This is just photography. And then we have in the 1920s and 30s, millions because of the rise of journalism and magazines. So this is based upon the content I put in here, which was do a deep research about how many pictures there are. And then here is an indexical report on the post-authentic image, blah, blah, blah. And here is that, so it went out and found all these references for me. And then it allows me to go check out the actual information itself and then have a summary here. So I can even, in addition to all of that, so if you want to know anything, just take a look at this. This is just incredible. All right, so on top of that, video overviews, reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, slide decks, and that's what I'm doing. And then now data tables. So output is all of the possible things that you can do. So let me go down a little bit deeper because I want to show you the one I'm working for in my class. In fact, you know what? I'm going to switch over my screen. Brandon, tell me if you can see me. Oops, somehow got rid of my PowerPoint. Aha. You still see my screen, Brandon? Hello, Brandon.
I still see Notebook LM.
Okay. How do I get, oh, there we go, StreamYard. I'm going to change my share. Get back for a second. Is there anything you want to comment or any questions that came up while I'm?
No, I think we've all just been watching with rapt attention as we kind of come in to land the plane as we come up to the top of the hour.
Yeah. So the big takeaway for everybody, I hope, is number one, if you're curious about anything in life, I've loaded it up with all my medical information. Yes, I do trust it. I'm paying for it. Google has certifications in a bunch of different ways. That's across their ecosystem pretty much. Yes, they are, unless you opt out, by the way, which you can do in Google as well as ChatGPT, and you should go in. Just Google, or ChatGPT has the question. Yeah, don't Google anymore. That is so old school. Google something. Forget about it. Well, you can Gemini it. So Gemini or Perplex it, whatever you're going to do. Plex it.
Can you imagine what WebMD could have been if they had had AI?
Well, and that's what it's becoming. I mean, that's the whole promise.
Right, but I mean, the concept of WebMD was way ahead of its time. Is they wanted to solve the world's problems, democratize healthcare, and instead they just told everyone they had cancer.
So I did a telemedicine visit with ChatGPT to find out if the skin thing is cancerous or not. Now, it told me at the beginning, I am not a medical expert, but I'm going to tell you what I might think. Is it worth going to the doctor?
Sounds like something a medical expert would say.
Well, and even a medical expert's going to say, well, we got to do a biopsy before we know what it is. But it told me everything. I photographed all of the, so I'm trying to get my dry skin to go away, right? So I'm trying to get rid of, whatever, trying to grow my hair longer, whatever. It turns out none of those things work, and hair transplants don't work. You have to have them redone after a little bit. So I'm not going to go to Costa Rica and get that done. Although, yeah, I haven't showered today, so maybe that's why.
More hair than me.
But the thing is, I mean, so I'm setting up a NAS server, network accessible server, and it's going to be 40 terabytes, and I'm going to put my Google Drive there and back up everything and duplicate it. Set up an automated system so my MCPs will connect together, all my agents in a workflow. Google's going to be shortly taking care of all that, and since I'm using Google's Drive and I'm using all the other things, my only thing about Google is it doesn't easily open up a PowerPoint from their actual drive, which is annoying.
Right.
And I tried a couple of
slides, baby.
Is there a new plug? Yeah, and even converting the slides, it screws up a bunch of times. One of the things
our AI agent do that, take care of that for you.
Yeah. So there is a new tool. I'm trying to remember. Did I send you information about that? So I now bought a subscription to it. So one of the down things about the slideshows that are created by Notebook LM is they're a PDF. Now you
Yeah,
can open them in a
we didn't
PDF.
touch on that. You can edit the Google Notebook LM slides now.
Yes. Oh, in Google?
That was another thing that it happened this week.
How? How do I do that?
I don't know. Twitter told me you could.
Okay.
I haven't tried.
Stay tuned to next week because we're going to do another round with Google Notebook LM. So I paid $100 for 1 month subscription. I did 300 conversions of the PDFs to perfect. So here's what it does, which is cool. Now
wait, which tool is this? Because this is not Notebook. This is not a Google tool you're talking about. You haven't said what tool it is.
No, this is the one that I sent you a little information about. I forget what it was. Of course, I'm going to forget what.
See, here's the challenge with saying something like that, Rick. You send me 87 tools a week. So it's like the one I sent you, the
one I sent.
That guy that does the thing
fact,
in the movie.
A lot of time I actually send it to you because I'm trying to figure out. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my AI assistant over to the side. Tell me about the tool to turn PDFs into PowerPoint. Yes. So I got an open window on the side. In fact, I should have been doing this all along, right? So it just came out, but it does a bunch of other stuff. It will make a Figma website out of it. You can vibe code stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do there. So
Codia, CODIA.
That's it. Codita. Yep, that's it. Do we want to share that? We'll do it next week. So we'll talk about that.
We'll do it next time. It was a pain because next week is Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Hey, would it be okay if I just came on here? Because I got no plans for Christmas. So if you all want to come on here, Jeannie and Claire, if you got nothing going on that night, maybe you come on and take Brandon's place for the night.
I'll tell you, Rick, it is we will get back to you guys and we'll post something somewhere and let you know what our plan is. Other than the the audience being tighter and maybe having family obligations, we also have Festivus the next day.
Oh yeah, so I gotta get my voice. So, you're right. All right,
savings, but I think we have so much that we can talk about with moonshots and kind of a reflection on 2025, looking ahead to 2026, and just a feel good episode. We'll pre-record it sometime between now and next Thursday.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, you're right. You got better things to do than to come watch us, right?
And but we're committed to doing this every week. We're committed to being here and putting content up once a week to get to our next 500 subscribers.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, the big thing that it did take away for me was the amount of time you watch the long form. The number of hours is huge now. So definitely stay tuned. Like and share. And if you want some free stuff, we're going to make a contest. You get 10 people to like and share. And send me a thing, and I'll send you a link to terabytes worth of good stuff. So I'm about sharing, baby, making the world a more beautiful place. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, whatever they are. You're beautiful people. Do good things with AI and make the world more beautiful because you're in it. Be more human, baby. Love you all. Take care.
Namaste.
But what you can do with AI, we're the dangerous people who get stuff done. And show you can too. Imagine a beautiful world. With you, we can make it come true.